Okay, so this is the next objective that we're going to hit, and this is the extra credit video so you can view before we actually do it in class. All right, so we're going to do graphing quadratics, which we've done some of already, even vertex form, but these are not in vertex form. And also at the end of this, we're going to do some factoring with the GCF. All right, so we're given a quadratic here. And we are going to, first of all, find the vertex and axis of symmetry, which we have done before. Okay, but I want to reinforce that in finding some other stuff. All right, so the vertex, we're still going to use the opposite of b over 2a. So b is negative 6, so the opposite of that's 6 over 2 times 1, and I get 3. So the x value of the vertex is 3. I need to find the corresponding y value. So I'm going to substitute it into the equation. So it's 3 squared minus 6 times 3 plus 8. This is 9 minus 18 is negative 9. Plus 8 is negative 1. So my vertex is at 3, negative 1. Okay, my axis of symmetry I get from my vertex, if you remember, is not just 3, it is the line x equals 3. Okay? All right, the y-intercept we haven't dealt with on this, but if it were a linear equation, if it were y is equal to 2x minus 7, you'd tell me the y-intercept is negative 7. So in this case, you tell me the y-intercept is 8. So that would actually be the point 0, 8, because it's the point where the graph hits the y-axis. Okay? All right. So the next thing we're going to find are the x-intercepts, which you've been doing, you just don't realize it. And that is when we have, this is when x was 0 in the equation. The x-intercepts are where it hits along the x-axis, and that's actually where y is 0. So we are going to set the equation equal to 0, and doing what we've been doing quite a bit of is solving it. Okay, so we're going to solve it by factoring. So we're going to look for our factors of 8 that get us to 6. So I have 1 and 8, 2 and 4 to get to negative 6. They both have to be negative. So it's x minus 2, x minus 4. So when I set that equal, what are my two numbers? Is 2 and 4. So I need to write those points. So y was what? It was 0. So it's the points 2, 0 and the point 4, 0 are our two x-intercepts. Okay, so we're going to graph all those points. So my vertex is at 3, negative 1. So here's 3, negative 1, and it's right there. Oh, I probably should have said this at the beginning. Since a is 1, we know our graph is going to smile. Okay? We know it's going to smile. All right, so now I'm also going to graph the points 2, 0, which is right here, and the point 4, 0. And the last one I'm going to do is 0, 8, which is on the y-axis. Okay, I'm going to draw in my axis of symmetry because I'm going to be able to get one more point. Because of this is 3 units to there, 3 units over, I'm going to get another point. And there I have my smiling parabola. Okay, so what did I do? First found the vertex using the opposite of b over 2a. Plug in y, get my vertex. And then I know my axis of symmetry. Okay, my y-intercept is 0, c. So if it's easier for you to remember it, it's 0, c. Okay, my x-intercepts, I just set it equal to 0 and factor it and solve it like we've done. Plot the points and graph. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and do number 4. The factoring on this one's going to be a little bit different because we haven't approached them with a negative here. Okay? All right, so my vertex here, we're going to go ahead and, by the way, this is a negative, so we know it's going to frown, therefore our vertex will be a maximum. All right, so x is equal to the opposite of b over 2a. That's not what I wanted. We are going to change this one to be... No, it should be right. You know what? Yep, I got to change this one. Okay, we need to make it 18x, I'm sorry, minus 15. Whoops. Okay, wasn't thinking right. All right, so I'm going to get negative 18 then over 2 times negative 3. Sorry about that, folks. So what is that? It's negative 18 over negative 6 gives me 3. By the way, it's not always 3. Let's get that clear. It's not always 3. All right, so my y value is going to be negative 3 times 3 squared plus 18 times 3 minus 15. This is negative 27. This is positive 54. You add those together, you get 27. Minus 15 is 12. So my vertex is at 3, 12. Okay? My axis of symmetry, I get right from here, is going to be x is equal to 3. Okay, my y-intercept is always 0, c. And what was c up here? It was negative 15. So it's the point 0, negative 15. Okay, our last one are x-intercepts, and this is a little bit more involved. We're going to use the swing method on this, so I'm going to do negative 3x squared plus 18x minus 15 equals 0. And just like before, I'm going to do negative 3 times negative 15, I get 45. So I'm looking for my two factors of 45 that get me to 18. Well, 1 and 45 do not. 3 and 15 actually do. So they both have to be positive. Okay. And then I get x plus 3. Let me check all these, though. 6 and 9. No, I do not. Okay. So I'm going to do x plus 3, x plus 15. All right, I'm going to divide both by negative 3. Okay, so this is just x minus 1. Okay, this is x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, if you look at this, I get x squared here, so I'm going to have to correct that. I need negative 3, so I'm just going to put a negative 3 in front. Okay? If these had multiplied together to get 3, then I would just would have put a negative in front. So that's a little switch on today. All right, so we just corrected it to make sure that when I multiplied it out, I would get this answer. All right, so let's go find our values. So it's x is 1, x is 5. So those points are 1, 0, and 5, 0. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go plot those. 312 is a little bit off our graph. I'm sorry, 312 is right there. Should have labeled it on the last one. And then I have, I'm going to do 1, 0, and 5, 0. I also have a y-intercept all the way down at negative 15, which is down about there. So if I were to draw this one in, ooh, bad graph, because we are just sketching it in. Okay? So it's a very long, thin one. Let's make sure we draw on our axis of symmetry, which is that x is 3. And we put our x-intercepts or zeros on the graph. Okay? All right, last thing we're going to do is the factoring with the greatest common factor. Okay, so we're going to look at what number is common to both of those is 6. And is there any variable that's common? Yes, x. So my greatest common factor is 6x. Now I got to ask myself, what do I need to multiply 6x by to get to that? Well, I need an x. Bring down the same sign. What do I need to multiply 6x by to get to negative 18? It's negative 3. Okay? So we're factored. Okay, what is the largest number that divides both of those? Is going to be 2. Is there anything else that's common? Yes, there's an x common again. Okay, so what I need to multiply 2 by to get to 16x is I need an 8. Same sign, 2x times what gives you 6x squared has got to be 3x. Okay? Last one is what is common is 4 divides both and x. All right, remember, if there are two terms here, there have got to be two terms inside here. So 3x times what gives me 12x squared is I need a 3x plus 1, because I want to get that back. The only way to get that same term back is to put a 1 there. Okay. So last ones are going to be factor and solve. Let's look at this. What is common is just an x. When I take out an x, what do I need? Well, I need an x plus 15. All right. So now we got to find our two answers. Well, the one we've seen a lot is this. What value is that? It's when x is negative 15. But what about the other one? Well, that's just saying x equals 0. It's just plain and simple x is 0. So here we'd have an x equals 0. Here it's 2 times 0 would be 0. Same thing there. So our two solutions are at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 15. Okay, what's common to these two is 10x. What's going to be in the parentheses is going to be 3x minus 2. So what are my two places where it equals 0 is 0. And just like we've done before, it's not 2 over 3, or negative 2 over 3, it's 2 over 3. Okay? The last is going to be a little bit of a wrinkle here. So what is common is 15x. And then in the parentheses, it's 1 minus 3x. So what makes this 0? 15 times what number is 0? Well, when x is 0. Well, here's a little bit different. We've got to be careful, because we've always done the opposite of the constant divided by the coefficient. We would have done the opposite of 1 over 3. So we have to take the opposite of this one, of that. So it's negative 1 divided by negative 3 gives me 1/3. So by example up here, it would be what? Negative 8 divided by negative 3, which is 8/3. Okay? Here, it just happens to be that the constant came first. Okay? All right. Hope this helps, and turn in your notes for extra credit. Thank you.